Welcome, folks, to the Dipping Fries podcast. I am your host for the day, Dippy147, and I am joined by the other host, Fryguy.
Toyota.
The Toyota.
Yeah.
Toyota.
Toyota.
Toyota Corolla. Master Chief Master Chief teaches you how to change the tires on your 2006 Toyota Corolla.
I'm more of a Crown guy, but I say that as if those are available in the U.S. They're not.
What is a Crown?
The Toyota Crown.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a car that it's not available in the U.S. It's a car from Toyota that's only available in Japan. Because Japan gets all the cool stuff, and we get all the SUVs because we're stupid and fat.
Well, I mean, hey, SUVs are bigger. We need big cars to fit big people.
Okay, that's a scam. It's a bit of a scam, right?
Are they not actually bigger?
Well, here's the thing. It's not that SUVs aren't bigger. It's that they've made some that are smaller, and they're like, ooh, compact SUV, when it has like the same exact space as a normal sedan does. And it's like, what's the point? You're just getting it for the body style. It's not actual. It's it's infuriating. It's infuriating because it's like that's not even an SUV at that point. What are you carrying?
Bro,
you can't even fit a baby seat back there.
I set a bomb off, bro. There was like a moment of silence in the intro where I was trying to think of what I say, and then you said Toyota, and now you're
it's just I don't know. I can't stand compact SUVs. That's
compact SUV.
Exactly. It's like
compact SUV. I'm looking this up.
That's like saying healthy cheeseburger.
These just look like normal SUVs. I'm on Google Images right now.
No. A real SUV is like a Ford Explorer or a Ford Expedition or a Toyota Highlander.
Ford Explorer. Yeah, okay. I can see that.
Those are real SUVs. Those little tiny compact SUVs ain't nothing.
It has more seats, and then when I look up SUV, I get the normal.
Yeah, like what sports utility are you carrying in like a compact SUV? You can't even fit anything back there. Like in a Ford Escape, like you can't fit anything in that car.
Well, I mean, I know many a mother who own SUVs, real SUVs, because of the fact that there are 2 extra seats in the back. 3 if you get real funky with it. So.
Yeah, but it's like at that point, what's so different than from a full size sedan that probably has
full size sedan.
Yeah.
A full-size sedan has 4 seats, though, right?
No.
6 seats. No, I'm stupid. 5 seats. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Full-size sedans are just bigger sedans. They just usually have bigger trunk space, bigger interior space, right?
Full-size sedans. Oh, these things. Okay.
Yeah, they're usually
there are so many different car types.
There are, but there shouldn't be. Because then it just doesn't make sense.
There should just be sedans and not sedans.
Exactly. There should be sedans, SUVs, hatchbacks, coupes, and that's it. And then trucks for the redneck hillbillies, but
like the Mini Cooper? Like the tiny little fucking ball car?
Yeah.
I once was on the highway. This is totally a stolen story. But I was once on the highway, and I saw this very, 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 very small little Mini Cooper, and it was completely pink. And inside of it was very buff, beefy, tall black man listening to hardcore gangster rap so loud that you could hear it vibrating the edges of the car.
That car's
And
gonna fall apart like a Lego when it gets home.
There's just like a really hard bass line, and it just causes the car to disassemble as it's on the road.
Literally. I hate when people blast music so loud to where like the car's just vibrating.
Well, my question is, what would buy this massive black? What would motivate this man? Why? How is he in this circumstance? Why is this massive dude crammed up in this tiny little car?
Because it's low key hard.
I guess so, but like
maybe if he wasn't blasting the music to like, category 5 earthquake levels, it'd be kind of based. But
maybe. Hey, who knows? Who knows?
like you ask him what he's playing, and he's just like, I don't know.
It was on the radio, man.
It was on the radio, man.
And then you look in, and it's not even on the radio. He's like connected to
Exactly.
his phone.
If a kid was right next to that car, he'd get sent flying because the vibrations were shaking the street.
There's like a stray squirrel that like climbs on top of the car, and then he starts it up with his keys, and it just fucking launches this little poor squirrel into the stratosphere.
That acorn cop would go crazy if he saw that.
My fucking god, the acorn cop. It's been a little bit since I was reminded of the acorn cop.
Yeah.
I like the acorn cop. I don't like the acorn cop. He sucks. But that is a really funny
I like the
video.
acorn.
Yeah, I like the acorn that hits. I wonder what percentage of people who watch this are gonna know what the acorn cop is.
Hopefully all of them.
Hopefully, if not,
What if we attract Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna just tell them what the acorn cop was. Go on.
Oh, I was like, it'd be funny if we got like the small, super small percentage of people who like actually defend him, and is like, you don't know what it's like to be on the field. Why don't you get on the field and on an active site and have an acorn drop and see what happens to you?
For those who don't know, the acorn cop is this video. You can look it up. It's this video of this cop and these other people, and they're like, I don't exactly even remember the context. They were like tracking this guy down, I guess, or what. But they were there, and they had their like arms, and an acorn falls off of a tree and onto this cop's car, and it makes a little donk sound, and he goes, shots fired, shots fired. he thinks the acorn is a gunshot, and pops a full mag into this guy's little car.
That guy is so brain dead.
It's so goofy.
Like, what are you on, brother?
There's no gunshot reverb or anything. It is literally just the little tink of the acorn falling on his car.
I think he just wanted to shoot. I think that's what it is. He just wanted to shoot something. He was waiting for any given reason to shoot, and then.
I've been working here for years, and I haven't been able to do anything. My talents are being wasted.
Exactly. Next up, he's gonna drop a fart and then shoot off of that. He's gonna forget about the burrito he had an hour ago and rip a fat one and go, shots fired!
The cop himself or the criminal?
The cop himself.
That reminds me of the fucking Good Will Hunting bit where the wife wakes herself up in her sleep because she farts.
That's crazy.
We should watch that movie. I watched it with Trashy a while ago. I don't think there's a single person who wouldn't like that movie.
That fart must have been devious for her to wake up out of slumber. That is crazy work.
Imagine. No, just the idea of him farting and thinking it was a gunshot. His gun out. It's not even like anybody has a gun. He could be doing
Exactly.
it by himself and still do that. That's just a very funny visual.
It'd be great to see on body cam.
It's like his fart is violent enough to like vibrate it a little bit. You know, you
Exactly.
just this little vibration in the camera. This is so fucking stupid.
What if it's happened before though?
What somebody? What? Which
It's
part
just
of this?
like it's like some incredibly obese cop who like can't even see his own balls, who just like rips a fart but doesn't realize it's him because the blubber between his cheeks is so like inflated.
This is a fucking insane visual you're throwing at me.
But he's
My
also
guy.
like so massive that like he stretches across like a mile. So then like when he farts, he thinks it's a gunshot a mile away, but you know he just tooted, but he thought he was getting blown at.
Are we just describing the queso cop fan fiction or what? Like, I don't understand
I
what the
mean,
deal is.
it might have been a reality at one point. Who knows?
You think queso was a cop? I could totally see him being a good cop. Weirdly enough,
Yeah, he's got a good build for one.
he does have a good build for one. He's got a good build for eating donuts and for
I would
farting
say,
himself to gunshots.
yeah, he's on the rather skinny side for American cops, but
That's crazy.
you know, I'm saying I think he'd be good. I think he'd be good.
Just because we see him as a good person because he's like nice and funny on Twitch.
Yeah, what if he's like that would be funny if he had like a just completely different persona off camera. And he had like 5 alternate racist burner accounts.
No man,
It seems
I feel
so
like
unlike Queso.
it really does. I feel like there are other celebrities who definitely do have 5 other racist burner accounts, though. I'm just
Probably yeah.
that seems.
Maybe like
But,
Amaranth.
yeah. Okay, well, I'm not gonna say anything about that actually. No, but so aside from the fucking acorn cop, we didn't really have a very like chosen topic for this one. This was going to be kind of a loose thing. I guess I'll go first with something I want to talk about because I think this is something we could actually wrap into a discussion. So for those of y'all who are not aware, I basically quit YouTube recently. I have one more video left to post, and when I post it, I'll be done for the next couple of years until I can get a new computer or what have you, or until I have to talk about something else. But until that happens, before this decision, I was working on a review video where I was going to review like all of the indie like glitch productions type shows on YouTube. So that's Murder Drones and Digital Circus and Hell of a Boss and stuff like that. Those kind of shows, right?
Hell of a acorn.
Damn it. Well, anyway, I wanted to talk about this particular point in the video because I'm not going to be able to make the video. I think I have more to say about the reception to Digital Circus than I actually have to say about the show itself.
Mm.
Like the show. Oh shit! What the fuck? my entire F9 key just came off. Hold on. What the fuck happened? How did that happen? Anyways,
Maybe acorn too hard.
yeah, maybe an acorn fell on it and it thought it was a gunshot.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was. I wanted to talk about how you remember this period, like in 2019, where when Fortnite was kicking off. When did Fortnite kick off? Actually,
Fortnite kicked off like 2017, I'd say, like officially.
Okay, because I remember there was this big period somewhere a little bit after Fortnite's release period where everybody had the exact same fucking thing to say about Fortnite, and it was like I think oh, the game is good, but the fandom is bad. But the game is good, but the community is full of toxic kids.
Yeah.
That was always what they said about Fortnite. Um, and that might actually still be true. I don't know. I don't play it enough, but
I
um,
feel like Fortnite's gotten a bit of like a bit more respect to the older people. Like I don't know, they've become much more like Roblox now, to where
they
like just
have
a,
they have.
yeah,
There's a
there's
lot
like
of user generated content on there now.
yeah, and a lot of it is pretty cool. Like the D-Day one, that one was pretty hype. I actually did play that one a couple of years back. It was actually kind of fun.
Hmm.
It got boring after a bit, but I would say it was initially a pretty good start up to that.
Yeah, and Fortnite's got they've done so many deals with so many different types of so many different like shows and stuff. I
Yeah,
feel like people were kind of it was inevitable for people to like it, but I do remember that big period where people just associated Fortnite with this supposed fandom of toxic kids, right?
yeah, I did it
Um,
too.
yes, yeah, I did it too. It's wild. And then I don't remember this one as well, but I know that this was also a problem with Undertale. This was another thing that happened to Undertale of like,
Uh huh.
you know, all of the people in the Undertale fandom were like getting called out for, whenever somebody mentioned it, the take was always, oh yeah, Undertale is probably a great game, but the fandom makes porn of Toriel. I can't stand by that, right? That was always the take was this thing is good, but the fandom is bad. Um, and so the reason I bring this up with Digital Circus is because I like I noticed this happening a lot to Digital Circus specifically of people, in spite of their language, really are just associating the fandom of insane fucking Digital Circus fans with the actual piece of media itself, which is really not that bad. Granted, I have not seen the other episodes, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just like people who are using this take, to associate the weird shit with the thing that is supposedly not weird. Um,
Yeah. The
I
loud
was
minority.
yeah, I was looking at Reddit a while ago, right?
Hmm.
And there was this
Love that
post
place.
asking, yeah, I love that place. Wow, it really is the best place on the internet.
Sniff the fucking Cheeto crust once I go on those forums.
Cheeto crust.
Yeah, not even dust. It's Cheeto crust because it's just
That's old.
glued between their butt cracks.
Oh my fucking god! Why do you describe things like this?
You're shocked as if it's not true. There's a couple redditors sitting
I'm
right
not
now.
saying
All
you're
right,
wrong, but
Cheeto
that's
dust
just
sticking between
insane
their butt
image.
cheeks,
Oh my
going, "Oh,
god.
stupid Chuddy, you're just mad. I'm gonna buy the Nintendo Switch too." And yeah, scratches neck beard.
Jesus fucking Christ. No, but like I saw this post on there asking about what people's honest opinions for Digital Circus were, like of the show.
Hmm.
So genuinely just a question of, hey, do you think this show's writing is good? What do you like? What do you not like? Just the most average, what do you think of this ever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the top comments was, I think the show is probably okay, but the fandom just ruined it for me. Um, I was thinking about like what exactly the Digital Circus fandom has under its belt that is so bad as to ruin the whole show for you. It's like I know they've got content farms. I know that was a big one. That was something this show got hit with really hard, which I don't really
Yeah.
think they could control.
There's
Um,
probably also a lot of not safe for work,
oh yeah,
um,
absolutely, absolutely. And then
unfortunately.
I think a lot of kids were like attracted to the show because of its aesthetic and how the subject matter isn't childlike at all, but there's
Yeah.
these big colors and these the character designs are very cartoony and the whole it's a cartoon, so
Kind of like, well, not necessarily, but kind of like, a lot of South Park fans who are probably kind of just too young to really understand the messages. They just like funny edginess.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but
Yeah.
it's just they probably don't get the bigger picture.
Yeah, they're not like looking into the literacy or the jokes. They just kind
Yeah.
of they hear it. They like
They're like,
it's
oh my
pretty
gosh, Tweak and
two
Craig are
dimensional.
gay. Ooh. It's like, alright, bro.
And I was just thinking about that tweet or that Reddit post or that Reddit comment, better yet, of just the fandom ruined the show for me. And it started to make me fucking mad because I'm like, the take is usually, go touch some grass. If you need to, you need to get off the internet. You need to go touch some grass. You need to
Hmm.
detox from social media and live normal human life for a second. That's always the take, and that's
Hmm.
usually something I would reciprocate. But if a couple of stupid ass content farms and like a goofy Rule 34 post is enough to ruin an entire animated production for you, maybe you should spend some more time on the internet, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
should get the fuck away from that grass and go on the internet and build some spine to this kind of shit. Um
yeah. I guess it also depends on like how old the person who said that is. If they're on the younger
yeah.
side, they're probably just reacted a bit more emotionally to a lot of the negative stuff. Rather, like someone who's a bit older, kind of just it probably doesn't like that stuff is there, but is able to like separate that stuff and see like what the things are for what it is.
Yeah.
So
Um
it may depend on that as well. But with something like Amazing Digital Circus, there just are a lot of like child fans.
There's just gonna be a bunch of them, and it really isn't that like childish of a show. I don't think at all. I mean, like it. Yeah, it has these bright visual designs, and all of the characters are very cartoony, and it does have a very childlike aesthetic. But like as far as the actual writing and subject matter goes, it's like the Truman Show. Like this is kind of
Hmm.
low key dark. It's not super
Yeah,
dark. It's not like gonna rip your socks off or anything. But if you have a more advanced understanding of this stuff, it is going to be a better show. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, yeah.
And so I don't know. That really was the main point of that section of the video. Was I just kind of wanted to rant about how people associate these fandoms and these things that the media can't really control with the media, and I think that's bad. I don't think that's good because you know it's just not good for the actual piece of media. um
Yeah, I do think a lot of the times too, though, it could just be like the initial hype around the show, especially the ones that keep going. Like, I don't really hear a lot about murder drones. Not that I keep up with it, but I don't
mhm.
really hear a lot about murder drones nowadays. FNAF, I would say, is still a very thriving community. Don't really hear too much about it though. Same thing with like Undertale.
Mhm.
Um, like I'm sure like during those games' initial heights, there were tons of people like that, and tons of people who kind of just were put off from a lot of
By the
those things.
sheer amount of popularity they were getting. um
Yeah, and then just over the years, it kind of dies out. But what sucks is that usually, people get older and stuff, and they might regret kind of just leaving the fandom, or they might leave the fandom with that take or with that opinion and still have it years later.
yeah. And it just gets me thinking about like how many people do you know who are familiar with Digital Circus who would say that not actually having seen anything more than the first episode. um, I think that it's like led people to be like really indifferent to the show,
Hmm.
which is like okay, you don't have to like it, but I just
Hmm.
don't I just don't appreciate the association that makes. And then I do think that, like what you said, I think that there really is just a big group of people who just want to not like things that are popular. Um,
Yeah.
I don't really know why, but like,
I think it's because they personally don't find it to be in their taste, but they're just seeing it all the time, and they're just
mhm.
kind of annoyed that they see it a lot, but they don't like it. So I don't know. I think at some point it just sparks some certain hatred, but it's just like I mean, Katy Perry was like, you couldn't stop hearing about her at one point back in like what 2013 or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, I mean, I guess besides their little concerts, so you don't really hear, about her anymore. I think it's the same. I think it's a similar effect to people who like something just because it's popular. Mm-hmm. I think it's just as stupid to dislike something simply because it's popular without actually like having a good reason as for why you don't like something other than it just not being your cup of tea.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I'm sure there were people back when FNAF came out who was just like, oh, this game is stupid, I don't get how anybody likes it, right? And it's like, well, sure, it was popular, but I mean, it definitely, even looking at it, retrospectively, it definitely deserved to be. But yeah. People always just hate popular things.
Even if it wasn't that high quality of a game. Games cannot be... I will always firmly hold this opinion that the objective... This is segueing into a little bit of a different topic. That the objective, like, good or quality of a certain thing does not have to be in line with whether or not you liked it or whether or not that thing is popular.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned this with Skyrim. I think Skyrim is a bad game, but I think Skyrim deserves every single bit of popularity it has, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hold that same opinion about a lot of movies, and sometimes it's reversed, sometimes that I think that things are good, that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like more people need to make that distinction, that things aren't always popular because, things aren't always popular because they're good, and things aren't always unpopular because they're bad, and vice versa.
Yeah, like I hate Ferraris, but I mean, that doesn't mean that they're they deserve to be worth $1, right? I think they're definitely worth the money that they go for. There's obviously like many good aspects to them. I just I have my reasons for disliking it.
Yeah, it's not your thing.
Yeah.
You can recognize that it's like a good car. I don't know shit about cars, so I'm using this liberally. But you can recognize that it's a good car and not like it, right?
Yeah, if you're buying a Ferrari for what it is, yeah, I would say it's a good car. It's just I don't really like the company itself.
That's how I feel about a lot of movies. There are a lot of movies that I just think are that I personally think are kind of okay, that I can recognize why they're good outside of my opinion of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's kind of all I wanted to say on that. I wanted to get that out because outside of a topic like what I talk about in that video, there's no way I'm gonna be there's no way I was gonna be able to talk about that in any other way, and people wouldn't listen to me or anything. So I'm gonna use this podcast to air out opinions that I would otherwise not be able to talk about. So yeah.
This is the new Dippy 147 channel, guys. He didn't quit. He just merged.
I didn't quit. I just became a podcast, This is just the Dippy 147 podcast. There's no fries.
H3 mode.
H3 mode. There's no fries.
There's more dip than fries, so the fries are submerged in the dip sauce.
Yeah, you're gonna have to fish them out of it, and that's gonna be really gross.
Yeah, I hate when I have to do that. It's so annoying. Bro, how did you even get all the way to the bottom?
I don't use dips on fries enough to have that happen to me.
I do it when I run out of the initial entree that I used to dip my food in. Mm-hmm. So if I run out of chicken tenders or whatever that I used to dip, then I don't want to waste the sauce, so I'll use the fries to dip. Or I'll dip the fries to get the rest in there.
I do have that happen a lot with chips though, with tortilla chips or something at a Mexican restaurant. I literally just because queso, for example. Queso is a very, very isn't soupy. It's very thick, and yet it is very, I don't know what the word is, consistent or whatever. It is fat, very liquidy.
Obese.
It's very fat and obese, yeah. And so when you dip a chip into queso, there's going to be a bunch of queso dripping off of the chip. And so in order to make that not be a complete and utter fucking mess all over the table, you have to put another chip under it, in order to so that the queso can collect on the chip below it.
Yeah.
And then if you
unless you got like a horse mouth.
yeah, and then you have to drop the chip, or you don't. You just have to hold it there. And sometimes if you have a small chip and you drop it in queso, that shit's gone. It might as
Yeah.
well not even be a chip anymore. It might as well be
The
non-existent.
abyss. You have to be like a freak and like lick it out with your tongue, but you all know you're not going to do that blatantly in the restaurant. Imagine doing that, then the waitress comes back and you're like, "More dip, please." I'm like, why don't you go ahead and leave, sir?
Ugh.
Absolute freak behavior. I better not catch any of you dipping fries listeners doing that.
That's so fucking goofy. Imagine being like a waitress, and you've had it up to here with fucking people and their stupid shit, and you're walking up to, and you're walking up to this guy, and you're there. You're like, oh god, what's gonna happen? You turn the corner, you see him, and he's got the fucking bowl of queso, and he's just chugging it like it's a fucking.
Just disgusting. It's like, sir, what are you doing? We'll have your food out in a minute.
There's somebody else at the table being like, wait, hold on. He's cooking. And you're like, we're the ones that are supposed to be cooking, you motherfucker.
Exactly. Like, the chips are still there. Like, you're just doing this for the love of the game.
Ugh,
Absolutely no reason you should be doing that.
that's so fucking goofy. Oh, man. All right, well,
Probably drives an SUV.
yeah, he probably does. He probably drives an SUV, and he probably carved out the passenger seat so he could fit his fat ass in there. That's
It's
me.
more queso.
Yeah, that's. What do you think Queso's car looks like? Let's.
He probably doesn't blatantly show it because there's probably gonna be some weirdo out there who's gonna like try to trash it. But if I were to assume, it would probably be like a black Hyundai or maybe like a black Camry.
A black Camry.
That feels very that feels very queso like. I'd be shocked if he owned like a Mercedes or something.
I don't know.
He could though.
I don't know
He
shit
could
about.
be,
I don't
though.
know shit about cars, so.
He doesn't seem like the type of person to own a very expensive car. Just probably a very nice
You
one.
probably couldn't fit in an expensive car. Okay, I'm sorry. We should.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Those cars are made for us. Those high-end cars are made for fat rich people. Okay, those like high-end luxury cars.
Oh,
yeah,
you're
it's a
talking
fat
about.
rich person.
You're talking about those boxy looking ass.
Yeah, like a
I
Rolls
thought
Royce
you were
or
talking
like a
about
Bentley.
like the really slick looking low to the ground.
Oh no, not like supercars. Yeah, no, fat people can't fit in supercars, which is why they buy Rolls Royces because they wanted a McLaren. But sir, the money isn't the issue; it's your weight.
The money isn't the issue. It's me.
Exactly.
No,
Sir, you're on a wait list for this car. Oh, sure. When will I get it? No, not that type of wait list, sir.
The valet talking to me. Parentheses. I'm incredibly overweight. No, I'm gonna try and circle us back to the Starbucks thing, because I feel like we've been on this for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, do you want to give background on what your work situation is?
I would say it's very, very simple. I'm not working as many hours because YouTube, but and other things like school and stuff. But I would guess the one I'm in now is like an actual Starbucks rather than like
The shitty
the one
Walmart store one.
Yeah, the one in the Fry's that I was at. So I don't have to really. I mean, at least I still deal with certain people, but I don't deal with like the grocery store people, right? Where you get all types of crazy. Ooh, do you accept EBT? Like, no. We're not saying that EBT is bad because it isn't. It's just like when you get EBT, should you really be spending it on Starbucks? Probably not.
What is ABT?
Like food stamps,
Oh, okay.
like government assistance.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm just kinda like,
that is kind of a funny thing to spend on Starbucks. You could be buying
Ooh.
like ground beef and like canned food and like ingredients to make dinner.
You could be feeding your kids.
Or you could be buying the chocolate coffee that
Exactly, or the caramel frappuccino. Let me get 2 large mango dragon fruits. And you got like 3 kids who need to eat throughout the week. It's like, all right.
Let me get just 1 raw dragon fruit, just a big old pink fruit, just a raw. Can I just get a whole? Can I get an orchard? Actually, can you just hand me the deed to an orchard so I can make apples?
I doubt Starbucks would do something like that. They'd probably freeze dry it, then serve it.
Freeze dry
like, oh my gosh.
entire orchard.
Yeah. But this actually leads me into my first story. I don't think I ever told.
Mm-hmm.
So this was back at the one of the Fryguys. There was this one person. It was me and this like one coworker that we were really close.
Mm-hmm.
We were really cool with each other. And we were just working. I think it was like 5 o'clock, maybe somewhere around there. So it was like a couple hours before we closed. And we're just, I'm over here taking the order, right? 1 drink, all right, boom, gotcha. Anything else? Another drink, boom, gotcha. Anything else? And then, quite a bit of time goes by, and I'm doing this continuously. I'm just kind of like, ooh, I've been saying anything else for, quite a bit, right? It's been a good, maybe minute that I've been saying anything else over and over again, and, I'm still getting a response that says no. So to my surprise, not even to my surprise, I was just, you ever see that meme where it's just like, I don't know what it is, but it's just like, this person's face just goes from smiling. It's like that troll face meme where it goes from smiling to sad. Yeah,
fades away from smiling to
that's
just distraught.
Yeah. That's kind of what my face went. The more and more I kept taking the order, and then at the end, the price for the entire order was $72. $72 worth of Starbucks drinks. Really?
How many drinks
really?
Is that?
It was 12, I think. I wouldn't say directly 12. Maybe 7, 8. Nah. I mean, it was $72. It was somewhere between 8 to 12, somewhere like that.
Was
they were all
ordering
huge.
for a meeting or something? Because that sounds like
No, it was just this woman, and maybe another woman.
Are you sure they weren't ordering for a meeting? Because this is always something that I always think about, especially when it came to, for example, how Trashy has her 34 Big Mac story, and if we ever invite her on, she is absolutely telling this story on the podcast.
She is.
Where
who
in their right mind would order 34 Big Macs? Either you're fat as shit, you're shoving them up your ass, which might actually be kind of the same thing, or you're ordering for a party, right?
Well, the thing is, it was 5 o'clock at night. It wasn't even 5 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It was 5 o'clock at night. So it's I don't know what meeting you have at 5 o'clock at night.
So maybe they were having a party. I can't imagine.
No, I'm not saying
why any singular person would want that much.
Again, well, here's the thing. Well, that's the thing. And here's how you could tell too. One, I just don't. I mean, looks can be deceiving, but I just don't think they look the part of people who would who would be going to a meeting at 5 o'clock. Not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying I just didn't get those vibes.
Yeah.
But then at the end, I pressed the thing where she where it loads up the insert or swipe card thing, and then I don't really see it. But then my coworker goes, "Is that EBT?" and then puts his hands together like he's praying, hoping that it is.
Oh shit!
And then it turns out it was.
It's a fucking food stamp. You're spending all of it on. Imagine spending your entire thing on Starbucks drinks. How much are?
Well,
EBTs?
they get crazy. It depends, but a lot of people get like maybe $2 to $4 grand worth of food stamps.
That's
I don't know the entirety. I don't know the entirety. I just know that like there are some who get that amount of money.
well, in my state, the average monthly benefit is $261. Um, that's not that bad, but that's still that's still
Not that
crazy
bad.
to spend 72 of that $261 on fucking Starbucks.
Well, here's the best part. We didn't take EBT, so
Oh
we
my
dodged
God.
like a 12-drink order simply because she was using EBT.
Imagine y'all started making
And
the drinks.
no, yeah, that would have been horrible. We would be devious about it sometimes though. Like sometimes we would peep that they had an EBT card, and we would just like let them insert it, and then let it decline of them. Like, oh yeah, sorry, we don't take it. And this is how I know that it wasn't a meeting because she left after that, and I was like, oh, okay, so you just didn't have it. You were just using your government assisted check that was provided by the taxpaying citizens of this country to buy maybe 12 drinks, right, when you could have been buying groceries. Yeah, I felt pretty good after that one, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm completely for government assistance because, man, some people are just in some crazy positions that they didn't ask to be in.
Yeah.
But like when you're just actively choosing to spend that money that is given, that is only, being given to you because people pay their taxes, right? Their tax money is going to that. And you decide to spend $70 on Starbucks. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you with a smile on my face. Ooh, sorry,
We
you don't take
EBT cards.
Sometimes we would direct them to the one in the Safeway because they did.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like, oh yeah, the one in the Safeway takes EBT though. And then we'd send the horde over there.
Did y'all ever get in contact with the Safeway people? Because it'd be really
No.
funny if like y'all had a phone line, and y'all had this bitch and she was ordering like say $100 worth of Starbucks drinks, and then she pulls out the EBT card, and the second you see it, you pull up the phone and you call the Safelight people. All right, we got an EBT bitch coming to you. Brace yourselves, folks.
I just call them and I'm like, they're coming, and then hang up.
That's so ominous. They're coming.
And then they just hear the rumble of the Hispanic mom and her tribe of kids hustling towards to get their mocha cookie crumble.
Oh my fucking god. That's devious. That's really fucking
Yeah,
funny.
we were happy that day. We threw an entire celebration. I was like, yes, thank you. But yeah, that was the one over there. Let me think. I know I have some other stories. There was that one time where I got threatened to get assaulted. Oh yeah, I should talk about that one. So
What?
we were just. This was around the time that I was actually getting ready to leave that one one Starbucks. So my whole demeanor was just like, I don't care, screw you. I'm simply just here to live out the rest of my days as I end this establishment. But we were making, this was with my new team, and we were working with we were just working. Then we get this one guy, and then he's like, because the produce section was right in front of our kiosk. So he brings a banana, and he's like, I want to put this banana in the drink. Can you guys put a banana in it? And at the time, I think other Starbuckses like had bananas that people could put in their drinks. I think it was like a thing. They stopped doing it though. But my coworker clearly clearly said no. And I guess he thought that we did, or you thought that we said yes, but we clearly said no. She said no, and I said no. It was like, no, we can't put a banana in the drink. But he like, we charge him anyways, and he inserts his card and everything. And he tries to hand us the banana. I'm like, sir, no, we said we couldn't put the banana in there. And he's like, what? You guys just said you did. And I was like, no, we said no, we couldn't. We clearly told you no. And then he's like, I should have sold you guys. And this wasn't like some, this wasn't some
such a wild ass response to that.
Yeah, it was like so nonchalant. Like it was so like I don't know. It's like it was so like it sounded like he said that a lot. Like he was like, I should freaking assault you guys. I was like, what?
That was like a part
of
his daily vocabulary.
Yeah, like he was not some like skinny dude or whatever. This guy was a pretty you ever watch Impractical Jokers?
No, I haven't.
Dang. I'm trying because I'm trying to. He looked a lot like one of the at least for the ones who know, Sal Volcano, I think is his name. Mm-hmm. He looked a lot like him. He had like a very similar build to him. So like
Sal Volcano.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very similar. And then as he was walking away, I don't know, he was like, "Yo, have my shit ready when I get back." And we were just like, whatever. I called security. They didn't do anything because that store never does anything, which was annoying. So I was like, all right, I'll just do what I can. And boy, I made the iciest, most solidified frappuccinos a man could ever make. I'm talking 2, 3, 4 scoops of ice, alright? And the cool thing about it was they were vanilla beans. So the vanilla bean frappuccino is just white. Mm-hmm. It's just pure white. So you couldn't even really tell if they were icy or not. Or you couldn't, like, there's no way to miscolor it since it's just white. Mm-hmm. And they were ready by the time he was there. We put him in a carrier. He picked them up and left. Didn't say anything, but I'm like, yeah, I knew as soon as boy drunk one of those, he was heated. I made sure to make sure those were extra icy for bro. No flavor whatsoever. You just got ice in a cup.
Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Yeah, that should be a lesson to never disrespect food and service workers.
That's such a specific situation. So
I know, it's like you wouldn't think it would happen.
Like what was the banana metric that happened? Like, because I'm still thinking about that. Did y'all have bananas? Like, how did this work?
I think it was just a thing. I think it must have been a thing in like official stores where like they just had bananas and it was like an add-on that you can put inside your drink or that like you could blend inside like your frappuccino or whatever. Mm. I don't necessarily know why. That's what I know to my knowledge. I just know that like at the time our store didn't do it because we're not an official Starbucks.
Y'all didn't have like, bananas.
Yeah, and more so we just like had to abide by like Fry's rules because we worked at Fry's because we were Starbucks in the Fry's. We weren't a standalone Starbucks. Yeah. So
if Fry's has bananas, you should just go get your own fucking banana. At that point,
yeah, I'm like, don't you have a blender at your house?
But yeah,
well, that's the thing. He bought the banana, and I think that's why he was mad because he bought the banana so we could put it in the drink. And I'm like, no, we told you no. Nobody said yeah, we can put the banana in there. We blatantly told you that we couldn't. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, he just, I don't know. People are just like brain dead, like absolutely brain dead.
Banana,
and it's annoying. Yeah,
and his response to that is just really funny. Like,
yeah,
just immediately just like, jumping to assault because of this really quite minor thing.
Exactly, and it's like, brother, you're not gonna die if you don't get a banana in your frappuccino. And this is what I don't understand with like.
Why don't you just eat the banana on the side? Why don't you just dip the banana in the coffee? I'm so confused.
I mean, like, I don't know. I guess
there's like a million ways you could go about it. that don't involve assaulting the customer.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just it makes no sense. It's just utterly stupid. I have a few more stories, but I have to go eat now. So I don't know if you wanted to pick this up a little later.
Yeah, we're like 50 minutes in, so we can pick this up after, but we won't have to pick it up for very long. But in the time that you were gone, uh, I did rewatch your Starbucks video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
Was it very Starbucksy?
It was very Starbucksy.
Sick.
It was. One could say it was Starbuckish.
Yeah, very Starbuckish. I think people know I'm not a big fan of the Bobucks.
If one was so pressed, they would say it was Starbuckian.
Possibly Starbuckian. That sounds like stupid language or slang that Starbucks customers use. I'm Starbuckian. Shut up, Becky. You're just a woman.
Yeah, what is it with you and the name Becky? First it was Megan, and now it's Becky.
I'm just saying, Becky sounds like a person who would go to Starbucks.
Did we have another situation with
No.
another woman? First it was Megan. First it was Meg. I think it was Meg. It's been a really long time
It
since
was
we had that
Megan.
joke.
Yeah, it was
But
Megan.
first it was Megan, and now it's Becky.
Well, I just think Becky is a person who would probably go to Starbucks and call themselves a Starbuckian to feel a sense of community. Even though the community itself
She
is
is like in the Starbucks Facebook group.
yeah,
there's
like
there's
liking
like
their
a
posts on
yeah there's
Twitter
like
and
a
Instagram.
there's a Facebook group called Starbuckians, and she's in it, and she's an active member of it.
Proud Starbuckian in her bio, and it's like, yeah, that's why you're single.
That's actually kind of fucked.
I would be surprised if someone just said that. Just under her comments.
And you want to know, it would probably be another Starbuckian too. Weirdly enough, it would be another one of those motherfuckers who would say that.
They're just all ruthless to each other.
Man. But anyways, what was your story?
So there was one that I mentioned. I didn't go in depth on it, but I mentioned it in the last podcast episode. But the lady, I think I also mentioned this lady in the video that you saw, about where this lady, or I might not have. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to rewatch that video myself. But there's this lady that was super rude to me on my earlier days working at the previous Starbucks, so the one in the Fry's, and I was taking her order, and it was like 8 in the morning, I believe. Might have gotten there a little early, but I remember it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. So everybody's still kind of tired. Not everybody's like super antsy and like wanting to go, oh, let's go jump off a building right now because I'm so energized. So
Yeah.
I was a little tired. The vibes were very chill. So I felt I was just like, all right, let me just relax a little bit. So as I was taking her order, I had my I was resting my elbow. I was resting my elbow on the counter as I was taking her order. And as I'm taking her, she just gives me like this deadpan stare of like disappointment. And I'm trying to like ask her what she wanted. And then she's like, do you care? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you got your knee on the counter and everything. Like, do you actually care? And I was, and mind you, this is like probably my, I don't want to say my first because this was my second job, but probably my first like rude customer interaction at that job, and then the first rude interaction in like a while. So it just kind of like, I was like stunned. I was like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, what's going on? I thought like I wasn't being mean or anything. And
It was just a random weird thing that she was mad about.
but the thing is, she was a regular customer. And all my coworkers were like, yeah, she sucks. She's annoying. She's rude. She's like rude to new people and stuff. She likes a lot of the older people, or the people who've been there longer, I should say. But to like the new people, she's like very rude and stuff like that. And I guess I was just, that was just my first taste of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I've interacted with, like I said, she's a regular, so she would come maybe like either every day, every other day, a mixture of that. And every time I would have to ring her up, she would always just be like super short and like just like not wanting to say anything at all. She would just, go up there and just say her order, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much like that for a while, and I was just like, whatever. There's always going to be crappy customers. I'm over it. I don't care about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But then one day, all of a sudden, I'm making a drink as usual. I didn't ring her up this time, but I was just making a drink. I set it out. I called it out. And I was still, I really, really didn't like her, but I still chose to be nice or whatever. And then all of a sudden she's like, hey, I was wrong about you. You're pretty cool. And then she just left. and my coworker was like, just looked at me. We just looked at each other for a bit, and I'm just like, and she was just like, that is the craziest thing that she could ever say.
Literally out of nowhere, just
yeah, just out of nowhere. Hey, I was wrong about you. You're pretty cool.
It's like you get so used to her being rude to you that the second she's nice, it's like, wait, are you feeling okay? Like,
yeah, like I was just like, what
the hell?
What did I do? I was the exact same way. And yeah, my coworker was like, just shocked. She was just like, what is going on? Like, you were wrong about me? What was wrong about me? What did I do wrong? I don't think I was the one who was wrong in that situation. But then ever since that moment, she was just nice to me. Which was just, I just went along with it. Even when she was rude to a lot of the newer people that came after me, but she was still really nice to me. I don't know, it's so weird. But then once I left, I kind of just left that entire situation. It's just like, oh, okay, well, that happened. But then I work at this new Starbucks, and she goes here now. And the thing is, we act like we've never seen, like we act like we're complete strangers and we've never seen each other before. She's super nice now. She's never mean. She's actually it's actually like she's like quite the opposite of what she used to be. She's like super nice. She's like super understanding. I'm not entirely sure what went on in like that year and a half. That could have possibly changed her, but now she's like super nice. But every single time, I always just get like those flashbacks in my head of just like, is there just going to be a day where she snaps and just like goes off on us? And I don't know. I tell my coworkers, I'm like, yeah, she used to be like really mean to me, and then was all of a sudden really nice to me. And they were like, oh, she's always been nice to us. So I'm just like,
that's wild. She went through like fucking character development.
Yeah, I think she genuinely got some character.
Because you just didn't see it because you stopped working for a year.
Exactly. I think she went through like a mad character development. I'm not entirely sure, but like she's like a completely different person now. And don't get me wrong, I vibe with it. She's like super nice
good
now.
For her, but also, huh?
Yeah, I'm just like, but like we act like we're like total strangers and like we've never seen each other before.
Do you think?
I don't mean like that every single.
Do you think like it's a bit? Do you think like she knows or no?
That's what's so weird about it, because it's just like we don't really talk about it. We never
Uh-huh.
did. We just kind of act like I don't. We act like we don't. Like I said, we act like we've never seen each other before, or that we don't have any like prior history. So I don't know. It's just like I treat her like a regular customer. She treats me like a regular barista, but it is.
She might not remember you.
I think I probably. I mean, I think would. I mean, that might be the case. Who knows? But
That's
I
so
don't know.
weird. That's so funny
Yeah,
too. That's very, very humorous.
yeah. So I'm just like we're chilling now, but I'm just like I wonder if there'll ever be the day where if she, she reverts back to their old ways, and we're just like, ooh,
You mentioned like in the video that like somebody had a one unavailable video is hidden. Oh right, yeah. Anyways, so, sorry.
where did that come from?
I was looking at the dipping fries playlist on YouTube for the podcast, and I noticed the one unavailable video is hidden, and I was like, wait, did something get taken down? No, it's just the video that I have locked in the upload chamber, scheduled
Ah,
for tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Um,
that bitch is not in sight.
yeah, but that was yeah. But no, in the video you mentioned that she was like that like one of your coworkers mentioned that she was like bipolar or something. Um,
Yeah,
do you
that
still
is
think
like
that's true? Like, or like, what
I
was the context of that? Do you
I
know?
don't I couldn't really say for sure. It was hinted, or like one or two people might like said that. I don't know if it was true. It was never really confirmed. Um,
It
or
was just
I
kind of
just
like blabber between your coworkers.
yeah, I can't necessarily remember if one of them like like legit stated it as fact, but like I don't know. I didn't really take it too seriously because I'm like, there are just rude customers. I literally just had like a blatantly like douchebag customer last Sunday. Um,
Yeah. Although
that guy pissed me off.
it does seem reasonable to believe that, considering that she just had one day where she like
Yeah,
switched up.
that's where
Um,
I'm like, it could probably there probably is some merit to that, but you just never know. There are just
Yeah,
some like jerkwad people who
you can't make a judgment on a rumor. Maybe she
yeah
was just maybe she was just bitchy. But
yeah.
you mentioned how like I'm waiting for maybe is there gonna be one day where she just goes back to her ways where she switches up again, and I recalling that in the video I'm just like that'll be the day she forgot to take her meds. Assuming that's true. Yeah.
No, literally, yeah. Um, yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it's. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I also say that not just because I can't confirm it, but because it's like when she was nice to me, she was just nice to me. Like there wasn't any sort of like sly rudeness or any hints of her going back to being mean to me. It was like she was mean to me, and then boom,
And
she
then
was
that was it.
nice. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty much it. There was nothing else to it. So, I don't know. I think she might just not
Did
like. I don't
she
know.
did she well I guess this actually doesn't need to be explained, but I was gonna think like because if she was still going there actively when you quit your first one, that maybe the character development she went under in question is like maybe you just missed that, you know, like maybe there were days where she was mean to y'all, and then I don't know. That's you
Well, the
explained
thing
that.
is,
It's just a very strange thing to suddenly switch up like
yeah,
that.
yeah, and it very much could just have been because I've been gone. But like, she was like, she was kind of rude to the newer, to the people who came after me, then. So I couldn't, I don't know, I can't pinpoint what it is. I don't know if she just doesn't like new baristas. I'm not entirely sure. But
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what it was then. That's why I'm like, it could. I mean, there could be. I don't know. I don't know. It's just really hard to say for sure which one it is. If it even is that, but the most I could say it was just like, yeah, there are just like quite literally just some like rude ass people in the world, and you'll meet them. You'll definitely meet them in customer service. You will meet the worst of the worst working those jobs.
Yeah.
People who are just rude for like no reason.
Mm.
Like yeah, you know running into douchebags is like if you don't run into them, then I would that's surprising, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, she's completely changed. She's actually like super nice. She always like says how much she appreciates us, and she's like it's just been like a complete shift in like who she is. So it's like I also try not to like mention any of that because like or I try not to like really think about that stuff too much either because it's just like
It doesn't matter.
in a way you kind of do have to let people change, especially if they're making the effort to do so.
Yeah.
So I honestly like I do kind of like I'm just like will anything happen? I'm not entirely sure, but at the same time it's just like I'm let's just hold out and, to say that nothing happens and that she genuinely did just change and just wants to be better,
Yeah.
which I think we should all actively promote. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy, wacky story. There was that one douchebag who came in last week. I hated that guy. Oh my gosh,
This
I hated
is
that guy.
last week. This is fresh. This
is fresh. Like I've had multiple like rude customers that I've dealt with, but there are very few where like I'm not only just annoyed the entire shift, but even when I go home and like take a shower, I'm just heated because I'm just like dude, sometimes you're just like absolutely flabbergasted about how like rude and disrespectful somebody could be,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where like I'm just sitting on the toilet and I'm like I wanna ooh
I'm
if
shitting
I didn't
in
work
anger
here
right now.
exactly like this is for you, Mike.
Mike.
Drops a fat ass log, but
This is for
uh,
you, Mike.
just rip it a loud one, just like yeah, this is for you, Mike. But no, I rung up this guy, and he has like I don't know what they're called. You know those glasses with like those sunglasses that are like kind of big, that have like those. They're not snowboarding glasses, but they have that like that color on them on the lenses.
Mm-hmm.
That like yellow orange hue shift on them.
Like aviators.
Not really aviators. They're like they're on the cusp of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know necessarily. I think there's a name for them. I'm not entirely sure. Are they? I don't think they're Oakleys, are they? I think it's just a brand.
Oakleys. Oakley Vault. Oh yeah,
that's these.
Okay,
yeah, it was these. He had some of these on.
Yeah. What are these? What the fuck is the point of these? Radar EV
I don't know.
glasses?
But I'm like, why are you even wearing these?
Bro
this-
walked. He was either snowboarding or like doing like beach stunts or shit.
Where
or
I
like-
am snowboarding, no.
No, yeah, I guess you are.
The way this guy would, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy like loved Andrew Tate. Like he
Maybe
just
he was-
his whole
maybe he
demeanor
was, like,
gives
doing
off
shit on the
alpha
beach.
male.
Y'all have beaches
I
up there,
don't know.
right?
No.
Y'all don't have beaches.
No. No. No beach. Maybe in Cali, but no beaches. Not where I am.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
well, anyways.
Yeah, he had that on. He had like a baseball hat on. And he walked in. It was him and his girlfriend. I guess his girlfriend stayed at the
I
front.
guess Mexico does cross you guys. I was under the
Yeah.
impression that it did. My bad. But continue.
Yeah. So I ring him up. He seems fine. He seems genuinely fine. I just ring him up. He orders his thing. He's like, "Thank you, boss." I'm like, "No problem, dog." Uh, and that just goes on, and then this like family of five walks in. I'm just like, bro, it's like 5 o'clock. Why are you getting Starbucks at 5 o'clock? But that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they walk in, they order their big
Big order.
Taco Bell, Taco Tuesday, shit ton of drinks. And I'm just like, all right, whatever, bro. Let's just get this over with. I ring them up and everything, and then I go over to help my coworkers make the drinks. And then the guy walks up and he's like, "Yo, what's taking so long? I've been waiting for like 30 minutes." He probably waited like 10 minutes in reality, but he just said this. He was like, "Yo, I've been waiting for 30 minutes. Where's my drink?" And I was like, I was looking over. I was like, because we were backed up. I was like, did the label print out yet? Or I was just checking. And it seems that it already did. And then he was like, "Oh, come on, bro. Like, I tipped you and everything. Like, what are you doing, dog?" And mind you, I wasn't even making the drinks. I just rung him up. But he was specifically, he was targeting me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look over, and his drink is on the counter right in front of him. And he was, like, getting mad about how, like, that family of five all got their drinks and he was still waiting and stuff. And it's like, there was literally 2 drinks on the counter. One drink that was like a mobile order, and then his drink.
So did you point this out to him? Did you show him that?
My other coworker looked at it and she handed it to him. And then he was like, "Oh, well, y'all didn't call my name out or anything." And I'm telling you, I was like, I didn't say anything this entire interaction because I was already like, all right, I know who this type of person is. Then he was going on. He was like, "Oh, yeah, I tipped you and everything. Like, I want my tip back." And I was just like, what, whatever, average rude customer. But then he said something that, like, you ever see those animes where it's just like a nerve gets struck and then like the background just like shifts in color.
Yeah, there's this moment where there's somebody's crashing out on you or somebody's crashing out on a character and the character is just indifferent to it, and then they say this one last line and then they stop.
Yeah,
they
and
stop
it just,
walking away.
Boom. Yeah, I had this moment. I didn't say anything, but like it went on in my mind. I got that like feeling of like heat rushing up to my brain. And he was like, this is what he said: "I'm not trying to be rude or anything." What? You spend this entire time crashing out on me. I'm not even the one who made your drinks. I just rung you up. You spend your entire time crashing out on me, talking about how you want your tip back and what's taking so long and everything. And then you want to sit up and bring out the "I'm not trying to be rude." No. If you're gonna be a dick, all right, commit to it. If you're gonna be a douchebag, commit to being a douchebag. Don't try to get your little jabs in, and then like try to be like, "Oh no, I'm not trying to be rude," as if like this isn't a normal occurrence. Like no. This guy was just blatant. This guy was just blatantly rude. And what was annoying to me because we do call out when we make these drinks. We do have to call out the name, or at least at the very least call out the drink. I didn't put a name in the order because there weren't that many people in there when he took the order.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just, we usually don't put names because it's just like, if there's 1 or 2 people in there, the name doesn't really matter. They'll know their drink. There's not a lot of drinks on there. Mm-hmm. So I didn't put the name, but my coworker didn't call out the drink. And I know this because when I glanced over and like she said a drink, like she usually sets drinks down and like doesn't say anything.
The thing is, this is just this guy in the family, right?
No, this is this one guy and like his girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
His girlfriend was like towards the exit, and she was like looking at the entire situation, kind of like smiling as if it's funny. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, yeah, I know that guy treats you like a dog, so you can go ahead and smile all you want. If he's crashing out over this $8 coffee, I know he treats you like a dog. he walks all over you and you just take it. Of course, you're gonna find something like this funny because now you're not the one being affected.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, the way he was dressed, the way he like looked, the way he was like talking and all that stuff. He just came off as like a narcissistic douchebag, and I was just like, whatever, bro. But when he said that, like, and it wasn't even like a completely like, it wasn't even like a,
It wasn't.
oh, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. He just nonchalantly was like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, come on, man. I'm like, what? Ooh. Yeah, it took everything in my body to just stay silent, and I'm telling you, that had me heated from like when I got home to when I was in the shower. That shower was extra hot and extra long because I was just thinking of multiple ways where that scenario could have been different.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I don't
that
guy.
Dude, I would have been embarrassed as shit if I was that guy. If I had spent 5 minutes crashing out on the employee just to find out that my drinks were literally sitting on the fucking counter, I would have been embarrassed as shit.
No, literally, because most people are like that. They'll say, "Oh, what's taking so long?" Or, "Oh, my drink is ready." And then they'll see that their drink is already there, and they'll be like, "Oh, my bad, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry." And we'll be like, "Yeah, it's cool, it happens, we get it." But it's just like, you immediately went from like getting mad that like your drink wasn't ready yet, and seeing that your drink was ready the entire time. In fact, it was out there for the entire 10 minutes you were waiting. And then you switched it up to, "Oh, but y'all didn't call out my name." But then what's even worse than that was that, like, I got scolded. Like, my shift leader scolded me for, like, not writing the names and stuff. And I was like, I just rung the person up. And, like, I didn't even I had no involvement of the drink making whatsoever. But I got scolded. I don't know. That kind of annoyed me.
Well, I mean, like, speaking on the guy... that's like, maybe you should have written the name. I don't know. I don't work at Starbucks.
But again, it's like none of us write names when there's like one or two people in there.
Yeah,
we just don't,
because there's not
it's
much
like,
of a point. You probably figure
exactly.
out whether or not their drink is there.
Yeah, it's like, and then like my coworkers were like talking shit about him after he left, and I'm like, well, where was the defense for me when I was getting just dragged? And nobody was saying anything then.
This 5 minutes ago. Here's another question, another speakage is, why did his girlfriend just not go and pick up the drinks? Like I feel like if she was standing at the exit, and I think about the layout of the average Starbucks, she can see it all happening, right? She can see the guy put up. She can see your coworker putting the drinks on the counter, right?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I think they were like, because we have like a seating area. We have like two chairs right at the entrance. Uh-huh. So they were sitting there and like talking, I guess. But it's just like none of them had the awareness to just like at least look and see where their drinks were, or to look and see where the drink was. They just were like, they just decided to wait that long and not go up and see. I don't know. Again, I didn't really like his girlfriend either because like she was just standing back there like seeing that entire interaction as if it was funny, and I was just like, whatever. He treats you like shit at home, so I'm not even. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna cope and just say, you know what, he probably treats you like absolute dog water.
Yeah, and then on his like last couple of lines where he finds out the drink is ready, and then he switches up and be like, well, y'all didn't call out my name. I'm not trying to be rude, but come on. That really honestly feels like he realized he was wrong, and he tried to find a way to justify the crash out. It's like you're trying to back out and double down at the same time.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of where I'm just like, I get this feeling that he's just like a narcissist of some sort, because it's like, if somebody just knew they were in the wrong, they'll just admit it, apologize, right? They probably shouldn't have crashed out like that in the first place, but, whatever, they might have had a bad day, or whatever. But, like, that solidified to me that this guy very much was, like,
had done this. He was the type of
like
guy
an alpha male, rude. He's just kind of a douchebag.
Nobody who
right?
casually wears those fucking glasses is not gonna be.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like,
And,
if
like,
y'all don't
I
have
like,
beaches and y'all don't have like another activity that y'all could be doing that would warrant the wearing of that, I don't see why. I don't see why.
no, yeah, yeah. He just definitely gave off the vibes of somebody who's just like narcissistic and kind of just like doesn't mind being rude. Um, so yeah, I was just like, yeah, whatever. You're a douchebag, and that I don't know, that ruined that low key ruined like my entire night. Like I went home, I was furious, and it really wasn't until like I was about to go to bed to where I was just like, where I finally was like getting over it. I was over it the next day, but like I'm not gonna lie, that was like one of those rare occasions where I was just genuinely like furious. Not only because the guy was a jerk, but because like even the person who made the drink could have gone, my coworker who made the drink could have gone, oh my bad, I didn't say the name or whatever, right? Or I didn't call it the drink after it was made.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just find it funny how they were like, they didn't mind gossiping about him after, but when it came to me getting fried verbally, nobody had any words to say. Kind of just let it happen.
Pun intended.
So, yeah, pun intended. So, I don't know. It was, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of salty about that, but,
yeah.
You life goes on. But yeah, that honestly, you ever work customer service, you'll run into plenty of people like that. Plenty of them.
Yeah.
Plenty of them.
Yeah.
And he definitely gave off like just like alpha male vibes and stuff, even like with his clothes and everything. I'm like,
well, was he like wearing something that would be indicative of that kind of culture?
he had like a tight polo shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and like the jeans. He had like some Nikes on or something like that. Very much like a I want to flex my gains type of look.
Was he like muscular?
Yeah, I would say he was a bit muscular. I would. He's not like Wes Watson, muscular, but you could see he was pretty fit.
Yeah. Okay.
He was pretty fit, and then not only that, like his, I say this as like a cope, but I kind of do genuinely believe this because I feel like anybody who was actually like genuinely just like nice and respectful probably wouldn't let somebody or even like their partner like say something like that to somebody. So she either gets treated in my I'm only assuming,
moral
but
compass of mental matters.
yeah, she either gets treated like that herself and is just glad that it's not happening to her, or she's the exact same way, in which both are just terrible. So
yeah.
Yeah,
it's hard to not like make judgments about people when shit like that happens, especially when the situation is so fucking goofy. Like,
yeah,
my introversion would never. If I'm like, I'm trying to think about if I was this dude, I would probably just be sitting there waiting, not realizing that my coffee was there. I just can't imagine crashing out on somebody like that. It just isn't a cat. And maybe this is why I find it a hard time to give people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to this thing. But like, I just can't imagine doing that. That's such a far cry. Like I'm stupid as shit. I could be staring at the drink right under my nose, right on the counter, and not know that it was mine. But I would never resort to that. I don't see myself doing that. I don't know how you obtain that position.
Yeah, I would assume it's usually just being a douchebag and everybody just dealing with it because, they don't want to get fired and lose their job or whatever. But it's just like, I don't know. And that's like, I guess that's just what's so weird about it because it's like, it's so rare. I won't say rare, but it's like, it's not as common to find somebody who is just like that blatantly like rude and disrespectful or whatever. And so it's I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't. On top of that, it's just coffee, bro. It's just coffee.
Well, yeah, like you're getting mad over like something that you could honestly genuinely make at home if you just bought like a tiny little packet of stuff at the store and had a Keurig coffee machine. That's like a total of $70. But you also get to have coffee again and again and again for like the as long as your machine still works, right?
Literally, and then, like on top of that, when he was like, "Oh, I tipped you and everything. Like, I want my tip back," and it's like tipping. And I'm saying this, so if anybody digs this up in the future, right? So I'm just take note of this now while I'm poor, right? Tipping is merely just an act of kindness. Nobody asked you to do it. I didn't even notice that he tipped me. I didn't even realize it because you used his card. Uh, it's an act of kindness. If you're going to use an act of kindness as an excuse to be rude, or if you're going to hold it against somebody for whatever reason, I'd much rather you just not tip at all.
Yeah, because
like don't even put me through
at
that.
that point it's not really an act of kindness. At that point,
Yeah,
just feels very, what's the word? Not mandatory. That's what it is. It feels like a mandatory.
Yeah, like
thing.
you're obligated to do
like
it. Like you're not, bro. Like I'd much rather you not tip me if you're just going to use it against me because you waited 10 minutes for coffee that was already made.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We want tips, but if you're going to be an asshole about it, don't do it.
I mean, yeah, I guess tipping's fine. Like, I get paid a wage, so I live without it. I don't need tips. But it's just like, yeah, I'm not like frothing at the mouth because you tipped. I didn't even notice that he did, because I don't notice if somebody tips using their card, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, the fact that like he used that against me, like all of that just kind of gave me vibes that this dude was just like some narcissistic douchebag, and like I don't know, the fact that his girlfriend didn't step in, that entire situation just really annoyed me, because it also felt like nobody came to my defense or like helped me out or anything.
That's always
and I didn't even make the drink. That was the thing. I didn't even make the drink. I just took the guy's order, and I got ragged on.
Yeah.
Like.
It's always,
I'm getting ragged on for no reason. Like what's going on?
It's always evocative of like the technical support people, because the tech support people aren't the like, for example, if somebody like screws up your I don't know, tech support people and like customer service, when it comes to like, whenever I think of having to call somebody on the phone, the people on the other end of the phone are always the people that get yelled at by the angry people whose tech isn't fucking working. But those aren't the people to yell at, you know?
They're not. They're not.
So they kind of just have to take the brunt of it, even though that doesn't really matter for, it's just, I don't know, it's goofy. I will never be able to understand yelling at customer service people or food service people, or really any service people. There's like a very specific group of people that I feel like I'm able to yell at, and all of them are people that I am close to. Like I don't think I've ever crashed out on somebody that was just a stranger. I don't think that's a category.
There's like a lot
for
of
me.
Yeah, I get you. Again, it's because like a lot of people, it can be many things, right? Like for a lot of people, it's just like they're probably like getting ragged on by their bosses at work, so they'll like rip on the customer service employee to get some, sort of feeling of like authority or power or whatever. Or like, I feel like in this case, this guy, they're just genuinely douchebags to people they don't care about. So
like the concept of bullying, and how like, the bully is always probably the one with the worst home life.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just like, it's annoying. And what annoys me, I guess, is that like, you think being rude and annoying is going to give you the effect that you want, but it's like doing the opposite will give you that. If you're like nice and just super understanding, and you're super cool, you're super chill, hey, if we accidentally make your drink, we'll make you another one. You can keep the messed up one if you want. Or, hey, this food thingy might have made you the wrong food. You can keep this other food that we made if you want to keep it, right? Or sometimes, hey, we'll hook you up with this one little free thing. Or, hey, this one DoorDash order never got picked up. You can take it if you want, right? Like, we'll hook up with, like, when people are chill, we'll usually, like, hook them up whenever we get the chance, because they're just nice. They're super cool people. And then in return, they keep coming back, and then, we keep hooking them up or whatever. and everything's just chill. But it's like when you're rude and mean because you want to lash out, it's like nobody's gonna want to make your drink right. Nobody's gonna want to like be nice to you. Nobody's gonna want to like converse with you for multiple minutes, right? Everybody just kind of wants to, just waiting for you to leave, right? And it's like, if that's how you want things to be, go ahead. But it's like, it's these people who always realize that, like, who's always wondering why, like, everything goes wrong, or nobody likes them, or they're always the ones asking all those questions, when like in reality it's like, the nicer you are, the more good things will happen to you. The worse you are, the more
I
bad
believe
things
I
will
believe a
happen to you.
reframing of this statement is treat others how you would want to be treated.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah,
The
quite
golden
literally.
rule.
It's insane how these grown adults with
Framework.
jobs and mortgages.
Like every moral compass ever.
Exactly. It's like, does it really even hurt to be nice? Like, it doesn't. And it's like, even if you were waiting 30 minutes, let's say you did wait 30 minutes for your drink, why are you waiting 30 minutes to say something? Maybe say something, I don't know, 10 minutes in. But it's not like he even waited 30 minutes. He waited like legit 10 minutes. And not only that, the drink was made already. He just was too stupid to actually go and see it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That guy, that guy.
Yeah. We
I couldn't.
have been going for 1 hour and 30 minutes, which is pretty solid.
Base. Yeah, at least that guy mates for some decent
Yeah,
content.
he did. I wonder how long we talked about him for.
I want to talk about him again.
Yeah. But anyway,
That guy's.
we usually end the podcast fighting. I don't know if we have anything to fight about, though. I do want our next episode to be a guest episode, though.
Yeah, I think that'd be swag. So hey, if you're in the freaking audience and you're just like watching this, and you're just like, ooh, this podcast seems nice. This podcast seems chill. Why don't you get on the podcast? All right. The rule is, though, you need to have 140,000 subscribers minimum.
Yeah, you need to have at least 1 million followers on TikTok. Your most popular video needs to have at least 3 million views.
Yep.
No.
We should talk about creators we hate next episode. That'd be so funny.
You know what? I'm actually down for that, because I've had some situations happen recently that I think we could talk about.
You never got into your Twitch
I
thingy.
did never get into it
You
because
never
the
did.
Starbucks conversation was objectively more interesting.
True. We'll get into your Twitch thing in the next
we'll
one.
get into
So,
And
if anybody wants a front row seat to that, yeah.
also, these episodes are
to
going to
next
be like
week.
seriously delayed. So
Oh yeah,
we're this is going to come out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So by the time that, well, I guess you wouldn't even be saving time. By the time this comes out, it'll be another 2 weeks until that next one comes out. So you're pretty much waiting about a month for this fire content. Sorry, but that's the way the fry dips.
That's the way the dip. That's the way the fry dips. That's the way the dip dips. That's the way the fry fries. And there's no other two ways about it. Even though I just listed 2 ways.
Can you dip a dip though?
I mean, theoretically, you could.
With what? What do you dip a dip in?
Well, how do you fry a? Okay, that's actually bullshit. You all know how to fry
exactly.
fries.
Maybe dip isn't as good as fries.
Well, you could
like
dip
I said last time.
You could dip a dip by just combining the dips.
You're not dipping a dip then, because you have to like dip it out, but you just mixed it, and now you got this like
somehow
incestu
make
dip.
a non-Newtonian container for a dip, or better yet, you just had a non-Newtonian dip. Like if you could somehow make queso, the sauce, non-Newtonian, you could dip it into salsa and have successfully dipped a dip.
But why would you even dip that in there? See, that's what makes fries better, because you can dip fries in anything. But you can't dip in anything.
Okay, I see where this is going. You just want to think that just because you're a French fry means that you're better than me.
Talking French fry.
Listen.
Get it
I
right.
don't. Your speakage means nothing to me.
Well, of course you wouldn't. You would see it as nothing because dips
Listen,
only have
you
one.
want to know
Dips
why
only have
dips
one
are
use.
better than fries? Because
No, I don't because it's probably wrong.
you can put so many things in a dip. You could put your finger in a dip. You could have put a French fry in a dip. You could put a chip in a dip. You could put a I'm not gonna say that. It's the last one. You
Oh,
could
so
put
you're just
so you could put so many things in a dip that are not, well, if you really wanted to, you could put male genitalia organs in a dip. I would not judge you, but dips are way
I
more
would.
versatile. Well, okay, Twitter would like to have a word with you. I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Twitter can shut up. What?
uh, but listen, man. Okay, dips are more versatile than French fries because French fries only apply to one category of food, whereas dips apply to all categories of food. There are multiple types of dips for multiple types of categories for multiple types of events and things and gooby gooberts. And that's not something a French fry can say. All a French fry can say is that I'm a good side to an objectively better meal.
So you just ran through.
What did you say?
So you just ran through.
What does that fucking mean? What?
You don't. What, so dips can okay. So you're saying you can dip anything in a dip. So you just ran through. You passed around, right? The whole team got to you.
Yeah, well, that's the whole. That's. This is like really. This is some insane implications. I'm not gonna lie.
I do not support edible prostitution.